Good morning, students. In today's online class, we are going to learn Standard 6, Subject English. Students, we will continue learning with chapter number 3.4, Sushruta, A Peep into the Past. In the previous part of the chapter, we have already studied part 1 of this chapter. Today, we will continue learning with part 2. So, let us begin our learning by reading the chapter. Part 2. A tradition of veterinary therapy developed very early in India, and this has survived to the present time. Based on the Ayurveda, Indian veterinary medicine is known for its specialized literature, which provides information on ancient method of preventing and treating diseases of animals. Some of these treatments, little known outside India, are still practiced today. So students, by reading this first paragraph, we get to know about the Ayurvedic medicines. Students, from the very ancient period, a tradition of veterinary therapy or study about veterinary medicines had developed in India. And even today, in the present time, this tradition of veterinary therapy is being used. Students, from the four Vedas of Samved, Yajurved, Atharvaved and Ayurved, the fourth Veda, that is Ayurved, is based on medicines. The veterinary medicines is being based upon the study of Ayurveda. The Indian veterinary medicines is well known for its specialized literature, which gives complete information regarding the ancient methods which are used for preventing and also for treating serious diseases of animals. It is a proud moment to all of us that some of these ancient Ayurvedic veterinary medicines of India are also practiced today in other countries outside India. It means that the Indian Ayurvedic veterinary medicines is well known and being practiced in other parts of the world. It is our country India who has shown the world the power of Ayurveda and the Ayurvedic medicines. Also now the veterinary medicines are also well known from India. So students, now let us continue reading with the next paragraph. The oldest existing veterinary text from India is a treatise entitled Ashvayurveda Sindhata, a complete Ayurvedic system for horses, contributed to Shalihotra around 2350 BCE, the founder of veterinary medicines. So students, in our country India, there are many existing veterinary texts which were composed during the ancient period. One of such ancient or the oldest existing veterinary text is a treatise which is named as Ashvayurveda Sindhata. It is also called as the complete Ayurvedic system for horses. Students, this treatise named Ashvayurveda Sindhata is been attributed or been dedicated to Shalihotra, who is also the founder of veterinary medicine. Students, due to the hard work done by Shalihotra towards the veterinary medicines, the treatise Ashvayurveda Sindhata is been dedicated to him. Now, let us continue reading further. Subsequently, various treatises on horses and disease of horses were composed. Nakula, one of the five Pandavas, was a horse specialist himself. Among the best known works of animal literature is Ashvachikitsa, Therapist of Horses, written by Nakul. So, students, after the treatise entitled Ashvayurveda Sindhata, many other treatises based on the topic of horses and the diseases of horses were being composed. Among the best or the well-known works on the topic of animal literature is the book entitled Ashvachikitsa. Students, Ashva means horses and Chikitsa means the treatment. Thus, in this book, we will find about the various solutions or treatments on the diseases of horses. Students, this book entitled Ashvachikitsa is been written by Nakul. Nakul was one of the five Pandavas. We all have heard the story of Mahabharata. In that story, there are the five Pandavas named as Yudhishthir, Bhim, Arjun, Nakul, and Sahadev. From these five Pandavas, one was Nakul, who himself was a horse specialist. He used to take care of the horses and also treat the wounded or the diseased horse. Now, let us learn further part of the chapter. Sushruta, a disciple of Shalihotra, wrote on animal surgery. This made people aware of surgical methods, dressing of wounds, bandaging of fractures, etc. Later, during the reign of Chandragupta Maurya, around 300 BC, veterinarians started accompanying armies to treat horses, elephants, as well as cattle. So, students, along with Nakula, even Sushruta, who was a disciple or the student of his teacher Shalihotra, had written about animal surgery. It is only because of the writings of Sushruta on animal surgery that the common people got knowledge or became aware of various surgical methods and also got the knowledge of how to dress a wound, how to bandage a fracture, etc. All such basic information regarding surgery was being provided by Shalihotra in his book. Later on, during the reign of Chandragupta Maurya, when he was the emperor, various veterinarians or the animal doctors used to accompany or go along with the armies of the kings. These veterinarians were accompanying the army so that they can treat all the animals, those who have been wounded or got hurt during the war. The veterinarians used to treat horses, elephants, as well as the cattle, which included cow, buffalo, goat, and sheep. Thus, all the emperors, along with Chandragupta Maurya and later on after him, took proper care about the health of animals in their kingdom. Let's continue learning further. The great emperor Ashoka erected the first known veterinary hospitals of the world. He arranged cultivation of herbal medicines for men and animals in his empire and adjoining kingdoms. Giving the animals general tonics and stimulants was practiced in order to ensure good mental and physical health. So, students, from the above paragraphs, we get to know that after Chandragupta Maurya, even Emperor Ashoka took care about the health of animals in his kingdom. In order to ensure that the animals get proper treatment when they are ill, Emperor Ashoka erected or made the first known veterinary hospital of the world. Thus, we can say that the first ever hospital for animals was erected by Emperor Ashoka. Also, Emperor Ashoka made arrangements for cultivation or the production of herbal medicines which can be used for the treatment of men and for animals as well. This herbal medicines cultivation was done in the empire of Emperor Ashoka himself and also in the adjoining or the nearby kingdoms. In order to ensure good mental and good physical health of all the animals, a practice of giving the animals general tonics and stimulants was also started by Emperor Ashoka. This tonic or the medicines provided good health to the animals. Prevention of the occurrence of diseases was also important. Cleanliness of animals, maintenance of stalls and stables, quality of food, disadvantages of overfeeding were looked after. Utilization of animal byproducts was also done wisely by our ancestors. Conservation of milk into butter, ghee, curd, khoa, etc. was a common practice and still is. Chicken was utilized for its meat while sheep was utilized for its wool. So, students, apart from ensuring that the mental and the physical health of the animals is good and proper, a lot of importance was also given towards the prevention of diseases. It means proper care of animals was taken so that the animal is kept far or free from any sort of diseases. For that purpose, proper importance was given towards cleanliness of animals, maintenance of stalls and stables where the animals lived, providing good quality of healthy food to the animals, taking into consideration the disadvantages of overfeeding, etc. Also, our ancestors were good in utilizing the byproducts of all the domestic and other animals. All the byproducts of animals were wisely used by our ancestors. For example, the excess or the extra milk was being converted into butter, ghee, curd, khoa, etc. Thus, the byproduct, that is the milk of the cows and buffaloes, is wisely being used. Even same is with other animals. The chickens were being utilized for the meat and also the sheep were utilized for its wool. Students, even today, this way of utilization of animal byproducts is commonly practiced. Students, now let us proceed towards reading the last paragraph of the chapter. Although India has always had immense knowledge in the field of veterinary science, it is not chosen as a career by many due to lack of awareness. Being an agriculture based country, today India needs more veterinarians who emphasize with animals and give their set percent to the profession. This chapter is written by Dr. Chirantana Matkhari. So, students, from the last paragraph, we get to know that our country, India, always had immense or plenty of knowledge in the field of veterinary science. But it is very sad to know that due to lack of awareness among the people, this field is not being chosen by many people as their career. Today, if we see across our country, India, we will find that the number of veterinary doctors is very less. This is because many of the people don't know about the study of veterinary science. Students, in the end, the writer Dr. Makhari wants to tell us that as our country India is agriculture based country, today our country needs more and more veterinarians who can take care of the animals who are associated with the farmers in their farming activities. Today our country need more veterinarians who can give their cent percent or their 100% towards this profession, and also with this the health of the animals would be better, and indirectly it will then prove a lot beneficial to the farmers and the people of our country. So students, here we come to the end of this chapter. Thank you.